Welcome into WRBL's Haunts Across the Chattahoochee Valley, where we're going to bring you all the history, tall tales, and alleged hauntings in our greater area.
Since the Springer first opened in 1871, there have been hundreds of reported sightings.
And actually today, we're going to be taking the Springer Opera House's ghost tour. You can take it too, but let's go ahead and get started with that sneak peek.
The Springer Opera House first opened on February 21st of 1871.
Of course, that long history leads to decades upon decades upon decades of ghost stories.
The ones we know about, the stories that people will hear on this tour, mostly started in the 60s when the Springer was renovated in around 1965. The people who were working on that renovation and doing shows here started to have some experiences all the way through the 80s, 90s, and of course now we are still having those same experiences, the same presences showing up to different people.
But what stories are known to haunt the halls of Georgia's historic State Theater?
So one of our most famous ones is a little girl that you can hear about how we think she may have come to be here at the Springer on the tour, but she is very helpful.
The reoccurring story from costumers here is that they tend to see the spirit of a little girl. A little girl will be in here, and they'll see her out the corner of their eye. And she's doing things like sorting buttons, trying to help out.
And it's like she's interested in theater, so she wants to be a part of it.
They'll come back in and they'll find buttons sorted that she's done for them.
And then another one people really love is the Top Hat Man.
Donna Pierce used to be the costume designer here at the Springer Opera House.
Believe it or not, some stories are told better by others rather than me. So while I'm not going to sit here and tell you what caused Donna Pierce to call out into the abyss of the Springer, we will tell you who or what responded.
She looked up at the top of the stairs, and for an instant she thought she saw the figure of a man, dressed to the nines, in white tails and a top hat. And he sort of tipped his hat to Donna, as if to say, "You're welcome."
I will just say he is very helpful to our costumers in getting their jobs done. Sometimes he leaves them little gifts.
Two of the Springer's center stage ghosts are friendly, but not all who take main stage follow in the footsteps of their fellow ghoul, Casper.
Edwin Booth is probably our most famous spirit. For those that don't know, Edwin Booth is the brother of famed assassin John Wilkes Booth, who of course famously killed Abraham Lincoln.
Now, not many people know that John Wilkes Booth was also an actor, like his brother. But John Wilkes Booth was not as good of an actor. He was actually a very bad actor, not as successful as his famous Shakespearean actor brother.
The entire Booth family, they were all actors, and Edwin Booth was actually at the time one of the most, if not the most famous Shakespearean actor. And he returned to the stage here at the Springer.
Edwin Booth and his family, the Booth family, had to leave show business after John Wilkes Booth killed Abraham Lincoln. They had to go into hiding. And this very much frustrated Edwin Booth, that he couldn't make a living in the profession that he loved so much because of this thing that his brother did. And when the coast was clear and he was finally able to re-enter show business, one of the first shows that he did was right here on the Springer Opera House stage in a production of Shakespeare's Hamlet. The story of the Prince of Denmark who leaves his country and comes back to take back what he thought was rightfully his. Some parallels with Edwin Booth's life.
And so it is said that a curse was laid upon the Springer after that performance, that if they ever did, or until they did Hamlet again, Edwin would haunt the building.
I do believe people ask, who is the Springer ghost, who is the Springer ghost? I like to think it's Edwin. I like to think it is partly Edwin. He is still walking around these halls, still trying to reclaim what he thought was rightfully his.
So we think we see him around quite a lot. He's, if there was a ghost to, I don't want to say fear, but maybe be wary of, it's certainly him, because it feels like he desperately wants to return to the stage and can't. So there's a little bit of pent-up frustration there.
The 45-minute walking tour takes you throughout the original staircases, dressing rooms, and center stage of the Springer, filled with tales of sightings.
A lot of people have shared those experiences that they've had with us, have shown us those cool videos of the different orbs and light streaks that they're seeing.
Encounters.
When all of a sudden she felt a blast of cold air.
And tragedies.
And she bled out right here on this very floor.
Plus, you can test out this age-old tradition.
Who here knows what this is right here? A ghost light. Correct. Many people believe that we leave it here to ward off any spirits who might still be in the building so they don't haunt the productions. But I like to believe, and some other people like to believe, that we leave this out for maybe any former actors or theater patrons who may still want to use this stage even after they have passed away.
We're supposed to follow the light that's actually showing up on our camera. Do you see anything at the end of the light tunnel?
I'm trying not to look for them because I really don't want to get scared, Hannah. But yeah, right up in the balconies, that's where they said they don't sell tickets for those seats anymore because so many haunted spirits have been seen in those booths. But like I said, I'm not trying to look for them just because I really enjoy the Springer Opera House. I don't want to.
Okay, look, it's an orb.
Oh, Hannah.
But for all you skeptics, don't ask us about the ghost light. Ask those who work in the Springer every day.
I actually personally, when I was first setting up for one of our tours, found an obituary on the ghost light as I was rolling it out for setup. I've asked everyone who works here. I have sent it out to all of the actors I could think of. No one knows where this obituary came from. We don't know why it would have been there. And it was just placed right on top of that ghost light. So we've been keeping it as a little good luck charm, but that was definitely pretty spooky.
And if you don't believe us, you'll just have to experience it for yourself.
Many people who still work here will often hear little girl laughter or see the figure of a little girl. And so many people believe that perhaps this is that little girl who died here all those years ago, and she is still walking around. But that's for you to decide, my friends.
I think the ghost tours are not just a celebration of, something a little spooky, but also a celebration of the Springer, our history, the building. It's just a cool way to get people in the door. So I'm really hoping that we can keep doing them for a long time. It's just that we also have so many excellent shows going on that we can't give you that experience while there's a performance happening. So it's a bit hard to find those dates. If they look a little sporadic around the calendar, that's why we're trying to fit you in when you can have the most exclusive experience. But yeah, I think we're hoping to extend these for a very long time.
Well, Kaylee, now that we've wrapped up our very own ghost tour right here at the Springer Opera House in downtown Columbus, I gotta know, did you experience any supernatural event tonight?
Well, Hannah, I think your camera scared away any physical ghosts. I think they're a little camera shy, but we did hear a few creaks and groans, and that temperature dropped down a good few degrees, but that might just be the AC.
Well, Kaylee, that's gotta be the forecaster and you talking about those degrees, but I've gotta say, these cameras definitely probably scared them the first recorded ghost sighting in the 60s. I don't even know if they had cameras back then, so that definitely would explain why they were being camera shy.
That's probably it. Now, I have to ask, what was your favorite part of the tour?
My favorite part of the tour was seeing all of the history in the Opera House. There were original wood benches, original lighting that we could see all the way through, original costumes, and just learning about the history and everyone that's walked the stages here at the Opera House was amazing. And you can decide if you see your own ghost, and you can learn the history right here at the Springer Opera House. They are extending tours throughout the month of November, so be sure to monitor their website. And we hope you enjoy the next episode of Haunts from the Chattahoochee Valley.